What's up, you guys? It's your boy Rosborn here, coming at you with an updated episode of Should I Run It Locals. In this edition, I'm going to be showing you guys the deck I got first place with the other night at Dragon's Lair Comics. If you saw my other video, my pack opening video from yesterday, you will actually remember that I mentioned this deck, and this is actually it that I'm showing you guys now. If you haven't checked out that pack opening video, be sure to go check it out in the description below. Also, go check out my channel, subscribe while you're at it for more Dragon Ball Super videos. Let's go ahead and jump into the list. I started by running the Mecha Frieza leader, of course, take a life to decrease an energy cost, or a cost of an extra card by 1. This side, take a life, decrease it by 2. Awesome card, opens up a lot of possibilities. Run 4 energy boosted Majin Buu to draw a card whenever you draw a card and have your 5,000 combo on the field. Awesome, digs your deck and just lets you protect stuff. 4 Ultimate Judgment Jocko. I'm reading off the energy cost at this point. 4 Ultimate Judgment Jocko that I've kind of started replacing the negates in this deck with, because since you're paying for extra cards with your Mecha Frieza leader, chances are you're already going to have major advantage on the opponent, and they're not always going to try to swing in for game unless you absolutely let them. If you tap yourself out, if you don't have that many cards in hand. In almost any case, Jocko lets you bounce enough cards along with your combo to get over whatever your opponent's trying to push for. 4 Destructive Occupation Frieza, because he's the best combo card for yellow. He's just like the Gohan, kind of in blue, kind of like the TN for green, and I'm actually not sure what the red one is, if there even is one. But yeah, when you combo with him, you tap an energy, combo with him, you gain 10,000 power, and then after the combos are all done, you play him onto the field if your leader card is yellow. 4 of the boost cards for Dodoria, with 4 less life, 10,000 power to your combo for this card, and then draw a card. Lets you get into more combo stuff, blah, blah, blah. 4 Ability Unleashed Ultimate Gohan. So the 2 Gohans are kind of the main cards of this deck, but of course there are other winner cards. This one's just absolutely phenomenal. This is the tournament promo. It lets you draw a card when you attack with it, and if you choose not to draw a card, he gains double strike instead. For 3 energy and 15,000 power, that can be very strong. It was really strong in my Buhan deck that I ran before, because you could put it underneath the Big Buu, and the Big Buu could swing into active mode battle cards, which just let you draw for free and get other battle cards out of the way, which is just an absolutely phenomenal ability. But that's not the case here. That's just with the Buu. In this case, he's just for drawing cards and double strike, and he serves another awesome purpose that this one also serves, so I'll get to in a second. 4 Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohan. Of course, if he kills a battle card, your opponent burns for 2 life. It can be very great, especially if your opponent's got a rested card that is weaker than the leader, or that you just have a better chance of killing than the leader for whatever reason. And then when you have 3 or less cards in your hand, 4 or less including him, so if he is one of 4 or less cards in your hand, his energy cost goes down by 4, so he becomes just a 2 red energy cast, which is an awesome way to just kind of spam out a big beater early game. And sometimes the hands in this deck can clog, especially since you're running a lot of high cost cards, like you're running the Jirins and I'm running some Gotenks as well. One way that gets your hand down in size for you to be able to do that later on in the game, and also one of your main protector cards, is Videl. She's a 2-drop 5,000 blocker. There's a lot better cards for just that, but if you read her permanent ability, if you have Son Gohan Adolescence on your board in your battle area, one of these 2, or if he's your leader card, you actually just can play this card without paying its energy cost. This is kind of the deck's main way around Blue Vegeta. One of my biggest problems with every Mecha Frieza deck that I've built in the last week since I picked up my 2 copies is that Blue Vegeta, like, critical just kills this deck. You have to protect against it all the time. You don't get the card to hand, which you really, really, really need every card to hand with this deck that you can have. If they're attacking with critical, that's just going to grave. You're having to waste your combo cards for that not to happen, or you're just having to let it happen to awaken without any extra advantage off of it, and that can really hurt you. With Videl as a blocker, especially one that you can drop for free, you could have the ability to take those critical hits away from your leader, and also you take the critical hits away from your leader without paying any of your energy. So it keeps them from wanting to make those big pushes, and it really pressures your opponent into trying to get this off the board before they actually start swinging for game. Just adds extra problems for your opponent to have to deal with, and was honestly the whole reason I went 5-0 with this deck to begin with. My opponent's having to get over her, even when I had to actually hard cast her for the 2 energy, really helped me out. I've got 4 Jirins, because Jirin's just the best red card. If you're playing red, you play Jiren. If you're playing green, you play Kale. Like, it's just one of those, you have to play this card if you're playing this color. And Jiren just, you can swing into any battle card. Battle card's in active mode, swing at it. When it swings, it instantly taps, of course, because it's attacking, but it's auto-activates, restands it back into active mode, and gives it 10,000 power for that turn, or for that battle. So the battle card you're attacking will be facing down a 30k Jiren, probably just as scary as he is to the fighters in the TV show itself. So, awesome card. Honestly helps me win games. This protects me long enough to win the game. This is what usually wins me the game. This is also a game winner card. I'm thinking of cutting him down so I can run the blue 2-drop no effect Gohans to have more Gohans to drop for Videl and more blue energy to drop for objections and whatnot. But these Gotenks are just, they're fantastic cards. I was listening to Peter Katani talk about his regional win this weekend, and he was talking about being afraid of two things that weren't really things to be afraid of in the end. One was the Gohan deck that he played, because that deck is just explosive if they get the right hand, and very scary to play against. And the other thing was this card. Even though he didn't have to play against it at all that day, having 3 ghost tokens at 15,000 and this at 20,000 to swing in the leader, if you don't have a Senzu Bean, it can be deadly. It can be game if they swing in. And that can be problematic, which is why I chose to play 3. I may go down to 2 I'll definitely go down to 2 copies for those Gohans, and I may just go down to no copies at all, because while he's a great card, he's very clunky. He is sitting in your hand for a while. You could charge him, you can combo with him. But if I ran those Gohans, I don't remember off the top of my head what their combo cost is and how much power they give for combo. But, if it's a lower cost card itself to play than the Gotenks, so whether or not it's a 0 plus 5,000 or a 1 plus 10,000 combo really doesn't make too much difference, other than the fact that it's not going to win you a game like a Gotenks. Onto the extra cards, I play 4 Encouraging Presence Manaka. It's it's a +1 whenever you're playing with a Frieza leader, because you have 6 cards in hand. If you play the Manaka, you're down to 5. You add an energy, or you add a life, you're at 6. You draw a card, you're at 7. You now have 1 more card in your hand than before you played the Manaka. And your deck is thinned, and your life is thinned. You just have more ways to get into the cards you need with Manaka, plus more ways to get into the cards you're going to need later on, because your deck's smaller and you have higher chances of drawing what you need. 4 objections for mana ramp. Only downside is that you have to have a blue energy to play it if your leader's not awakened. That's just a downside. But once you awaken your leader, you're able to play them for free and just drop whatever you want. But you have to be very conscious at the beginning of the game that if you're going to be playing objections at the beginning, you have to have that blue energy. I honestly cannot remember whether every time I activated objection or not in the very first tournament I played with the Bionic Frieza leader. I don't think I was playing blue sources that first one, but I've definitely learned my lesson since then. In the last 3 tournaments I played with this as my leader, I've definitely been, hurting when I don't have that blue energy. Play 4 Senzu Bean. It's another extra card to take your life. It's another extra card to take your life and get extra life. It protects against a lot of cards. Also, it untaps energy. If you take the life, it untaps. It basically untaps 2 energy instead of the quote-unquote 1 energy. Because to activate it, you have to tap 1 and then untap 2. So you have only 1 more energy active beforehand. Or only 1 more energy than you had active beforehand after you play this card by paying mana. But if you pay with life, you have 2 more energy untapped than you did before you played the card. So it gets you into extra stuff. You can play 4 just because it helps your dual attackers swing. It helps Jiren swing in for extra damage. And of course, I always like to point out that without combos and without other cards to help boost their attack, Senzu Bean helps most leaders protect themselves from ghost tokens, which at the beginning of this format was a lot more scary than it is now, but I'm honestly still very scared of Gotenks. So I'm going to stick with 4 Senzu Bean as long as I can. And to wrap off the list, I'm playing 3 Cold Bloodlust. It's the negation card. I cut it down to 3 because I needed space. And you're not really playing a lot of yellow source with this deck to begin with. I mean, you're playing the Friezas, the Dodorias, and Cold Bloodlust as your yellow cards in the main deck. You're not really trying to go charge those for any specific reason, but later game, you could probably find a reason to charge a Frieza or a Bloodlust so that you don't have to take the actual life to play a Cold Bloodlust. And that's the deck. If you actually stuck around this long to listen to all of my choices and my reasonings for playing stuff, thank you for watching my video. I understand that I left the list out here for everybody to see. They could just click on the video, look at the list, build the deck, and play it however they want to without listening to my explanation. I figured that would be a lot easier for some people that don't want to sit and watch a really, really long video just to get a deck profile, where before I was putting out like each card at a time. Let me know what you guys think about that and which format of deck profile you like better. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more Dragon Ball Super videos, and be sure to leave a thumbs up on that video to bring more videos in the future. For now, I'm out. Peace!